when they say self-made, I don't believe in that term. I'm self-driven, but even my bad times or the struggles that I had at 16 years old and in high school continue to build this person that I am today. And so I take that with my daily challenges, especially in real estate, especially in design, especially in the market that we're in today. If I can overcome what I overcome as a child, getting beat up and bullied my whole entire life, having my family reject me, but also giving them love, sympathy, and understanding, I can survive anything.
Today's episode, well, I was just on the phone with the editor moments before we hit record. Look at, I'm getting goose pimples remembering the call. Here's what I told Tom. His name's Tom Kelly. I said, Tom, once you hear this recording, we haven't hit record yet. This is going to be your favorite of the season. And thank you for joining us, because I think for you listening right now, it's going to become your favorite for this season. Why? Because I'm super excited to invite and introduce you to David Rios. David is a spectacular man that I had the pleasure of meeting because of media. We did a television segment together, David and I. And David, the moment I visited with you on the telephone, the producers reached out. They were scouring for the top agents that represented the Coachella Valley. There's a handful of agents that really run that entire market, and David is at the top of it. Not only does he become one of the top realtors of the Coachella Valley, he's also one of the top realtors in the Los Angeles County markets. His magic seems to behave in multiple counties. It doesn't seem to care. And I think once you visit with David, you're going to understand why. And my hopes is this, that today's podcast, not only is it going to be a blast, because wait till you see who David is and what he's unlocked in life, but I have a funny feeling it's going to help you start dreaming bolder, thinking bigger in the life that you're living, knowing that is filled with a whole bunch of yes, you cans. And so with any further ado, I'd love to formally introduce you to my dearest friend, David Rios. David, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Scott, for having me a part of your podcast. It's exciting to be here and exciting to share my story and some of my tips and my hurdles that I recently faced to help other people overcome theirs.
Look at us already kicking off with a whole bunch of I told you. David, not only are you incredibly successful in real estate, sometimes in business, others are there to advise, but they don't always practice the advice they provide as much as they're focused on providing it. But you, my friend, David, you have one of the most gorgeous boutique hotels in all of Palm Springs. And one of the other ones, well, it's only gorgeous and amazing because it has your signature on it. It's signed. It's an autographed, gorgeous properties. David, not only do you do that, my beautiful friend, you've gone and taken California. We're focused right in the market you play in, both LA County, the desert community, and you took pieces of property and turn them into magnificent opportunities for yourself. You help other clients unlock it. You do incredible design work. Those driving through Palm Springs, for sure, you've seen David Rios's billboards. He's one of the best talents in the Coachella Valley. Even ran for office because that's what passion does. Passion finds a way to serve and to help others become magnificent in the life they're living. David, please, I know you are one of our top talents for real estate and also, I would say, in design specific to real estate. But would you allow us, because what I love about you, David, and what I've learned over the years of getting to know you is that life has obstacles. And you, my gorgeous, have solutions to what the obstacles love to show up with. That's what I've learned about who you are, David. And what I've learned, we share dinners. What I love about you is your incredible authenticity and your willingness to share depth with those having great conversations who get the pleasure of meeting you. David, your youth is so unique. All of ours belong to us as individuals. And what I've learned is that sometimes when the youthful life we live has too much texture in it, it's hard to get on the other side of what that texture interrupts. For a lot of us, it can stop believing that we're valuable people in life. We might not fit in. We don't belong. No, I'm not loved by my own family, or I am. Whatever the thoughts are can be challenging for some. And for many of us, we can just get stuck there. And since I know the story, do you mind sharing a little bit? Because your journey is incredible to me. It's remarkable.
It takes back to humble beginnings. I was raised in a family of teenage parents, and hopefully this resonates with other people that have been through challenges like I have, not coming from the best family, but who does come from the best family. But those were all stepping stones to who created who I am today. My parents were teenagers when they had us. My dad was, I think, 18. My mom was 15. And so they were kids raising kids. And that took me till I got into my 20s to really understand that, and for it to sink in, because there was a lot of disappointments as a child growing up, things that I missed out on, things that I thought I lacked. But I will say one thing is that even though we had challenges as kids, I felt loved. I felt loved by my mom, and I think that's what she could provide me at that specific time in her life when she was 16, 18, and her early 20s. So again, there was a lot of forgiveness that I had to forgive, and understanding as well. And I bring that into my my daily life, should I say, experiences every single day. I go back to my childhood, and I think how I overcame certain obstacles, issues in life, roadblocks. And if I could overcome my childhood experience and make that my leading source of my rock to get me to the next spot, or to make the next perfect, or a better decision, should I say, based off of the hardships that I had. That works in every business, every opportunity, every anything that you're going through. If you go back to the hard times in life, that will elevate your decision going forward.
Don't you agree? And David, please, if I may, something happened in your teenage life, if I'm correct, that was pretty dramatic, that shifted change. When I said it's dramatic, it was pretty dramatic. What happened?
So clearly I'm gay, and I'm proud to be gay. It was very hard to be gay in the 80s. It was very hard
That's
in the
right.
90s as well. I mean, we grew up where friends were just, dropping like flies. And that's something I want you to understand, is that when people were dying and passing away from AIDS, that was an indicator that news, media, even Oprah, shows that were showing the public that there was this sickness and it attacked gay males, and you weren't gonna recover from it. So when I was 16 years old, I was talking to my mom, and we had a conversation. She asked me if I was gay, and I said yes. I'm thinking we're going to have a party. I've shopped with her. I've told her what to wear. I've been called, I'm sorry to say this, a fag my whole life, elementary, junior high, high school. So to me, at 16 years old, her asking me if I was gay was a no-brainer. Yes, we've been best friends. We're 16 years apart. Of course, I'm not going to lie to you. And that took me by surprise, because she had the quite opposite approach. She was very hurt by it. Religion came in, it played a factor. The AIDS was going around, people were dying. That played a factor in it. And all it was her watching the media saying, if you were gay, you're going to die of AIDS. And that's what she said, is that, look, you want this hard life. I'm going to show you a hard life. You're going to be out there by yourself. And if you want to be, hanging around these gay individuals, well, then go leave our property, leave our home, basically kick me out, and go see what life is going to be gay. And at that time, I was so hurt by it. I was turned off by the whole family, because I felt like I was shunned. I felt like it was a fake lifestyle that they were living, and I was living, because I was always free. I was always playing with Barbie dolls. I was always, the outspoken little gay kid. So I didn't think there was anything wrong with that. The minute I actually verbalized that, and we were always told to have an open conversation, is what we were told as kids with our parents. We don't hold anything back. We have transparency up front. And that was taken from me. And so I said, yes, I'm gay. And so my mom, asked me to leave, which I did. And the whole family turned against me. And we're talking about 16 years old. I'm in 11th grade. I don't know much. I am barely working at a party rental store. But I said, you know what? I'm going to leave. and I will figure out a way because I'm determined. I have been creative, and I'm working right now. So that's what I did. I went straight into work, continued school, but it was a shame that I was thrown out. But when I look at it all as of today, it was a blessing in disguise. It molded me. It created my drive. I know what it is to be homeless. I know what it is to sleep in cars, people's garages, maybe not even go to school sometimes. I was skinny as skinny. I walked to high school. I was determined to show my mom and my family that as a gay 16-year-old, I didn't need their help. And yes, I might have had a hard life, but I was going to prevail regardless of whatever obstacles I had at 16.
That's a stunning, David. Stunning. That's what I'm talking about. At 16 years old, you're asked to live life alone, your own family who you've loved and felt supported through, only to find out that support doesn't feel so real. Rejection is rejection, and rejection as a child from family is one of the deepest cuts in life can bring. I'm a product of that at a younger age, even than that. So I so relate to you, David, at the deepest of levels. And for you to find the other side of that and to use that as an energy source is the gift itself. David, may I please? Because here we are years later from that event window, but that event window shapes so much. And part of that shaping, David, is your incredible strength of confidence and the ability to get uncomfortable with change quickly. Most people run away from change, David. Change can be scary for many. And so many of us stay in comfort, not in discomfort. And when discomfort arrives, we run from it immediately. You're so stunning. Look at you. I used it to prove that wasn't me. Whoever you think gay is, that's your version of something that doesn't fit here. You forgot I'm David Rios. That was you who you created. Let me show you who you built. I'm this other person. I'm this version. I'm not the one you've been watching on media, and I don't intend to die. I'll be here for a while. David, may I please? So here you are. And you finished school? You didn't stop school, David? Is that right?
My manager said, "You're not dropping out of high school. I'm going to bring you in," because it was a party rental store. I was scrubbing tables and canopies, tables and chairs and all that. And she said, "Come inside, work with the brides. They already love you. Start coordinating events. I'm going to give you a raise and you're going to go into continue high school." And then I got a part-time nighttime job at AutoZone. It used to be called Chief something, and now it's called AutoZone. But yeah, I had two jobs. I was gonna survive, and I give a lot of thanks to everybody that's created me. And not only that, though, when they say self-made, I don't believe in that term. I'm self-driven, but even my bad times or the struggles that I had at 16 years old and in high school continue to build this person that I am today. And so I take that with my daily challenges, especially in real estate, especially in design, especially in the market that we're in today. If I can overcome what I overcome as a child, getting beat up and bullied my whole entire life, having my family reject me, but also giving them love, sympathy, and understanding, I can survive anything. And forgiveness, definitely.
Stunning, stunning, stunning. And David, your joy. My gosh, I've seen and witnessed your authentic joy, even though there was tough times underlining that joy's moment. I've witnessed you personally, David, allow the joy to shine brighter than the darkness, even though they were running continuously together. You're an amazing man that's found ways in life, my friend. And it's why I'm so grateful you're here right now. I love what you said as well about being self-made versus self-driven. It's true, isn't it, David? For me, it is. It's the people that I've been lucky enough to meet on my journey that helped me in some of my times to reinterpret what was happening, to give me another way of seeing the same moment through so I didn't get stuck. And look at this gorgeous person at the party rental store, making sure that you didn't get stuck in the moment that you couldn't control and gave you tools to make it work anyway. Well, that blended with your gorgeousness of self-drive. David, can I ask you, please, since we're in that window of time of memory right now, can I ask, were there certain things that you found yourself doing and that you might still do now in those moments when life gets a little bit textured. I like to call darkness texture. When texture shows up, is there something you do that allows that light to stay so bright? What are you doing? What happens for you, David? Please.
Oh my God, I'm so glad you said that. 20-minute rule. My 20-minute rule, and I hope you guys apply this to your life every single day. I give myself 20 minutes to be upset about anything because your client, your family, your partner, whoever you're with next in your life deserves to have the utmost energy, perspective, ideas, whatever it is. They deserve you as a whole. And if you dwell on something that you can't change right there and then, I think with 20 minutes, it gives you time to absorb it, to cry, to be frustrated, to maybe cure it, to sink in, allow yourself to really feel that pain or that frustration, and allow yourself to be upset. It's okay to be upset, but then let it go. You have to let it go because you can't control that. You can't control other people's decisions or if they backed out of deals or if this shipment didn't come in time or if you had an argument with your family member, your husband, your wife, your partner, someone in business. It can't control 24 hours of your time. What are you doing with your daily activity? Because that leads to success. That's how you're going to present yourself. That's how you're going to make your next decision. And if you have this lingering over you all the time, you can't. So I allow a negative, a problem that comes into my life consume 20 minutes of my life because guess what? I'm probably going to have 4 other problems that day as well. And if you want to be successful in life, you got to do multiple items and you're going to have multiple disappointments and multiple times that you're going to be frustrated. So let's say it's an hour worth of time frame that goes by throughout the day that you're upset about certain things. But imagine all the other hours that you're creating and you're giving people a smile, a compliment, and just getting that negative out of your head. That has led me to be able to be successful in anything I do, not allowing the negativity to overcome me. And that's like on social media. Stop following people that post negative stuff that make you have negative comments. It's up to you. The average person watches on their phone 8 to 9 hours a day. 8 to 9 hours. Just imagine that. And what are you doing with that time? Are you watching and are you following people, stories that are motivating, inspirational, that are in line with you, goals, people that have drive? That's what I want you to do. That's what I want you. This year, I challenge you to start following people that motivate you and you will see a whole nother perspective in life.
God, that's delicious. All of that is everything gorgeous. David, it is no wonder, my beautiful friend, that I'm able to witness authentic light in even life's darkness when I'm together with you talking on a topic. And I love the 20-minute rule.
Thank you.
By giving that exercise of that 20 minutes and having that feeling, you're available for all of the others. And I think, and please, I don't dare put words in your mouth, but I know for myself, David, by having those moments and then reflecting later, because I love to take morning walks and reflect, I'm able to build a very high level of self-confidence. By having myself witness my ability to overcome things that don't feel good and more than once. And if they're really bold and I get on the other side of that one, that's when I've learned is what I'm hearing through you. Well, everything is possible. You just got to believe bolder. I mean, who is building hotels in the Palm Springs competitive market? And who has hotels and who gets design ideas that get so highly recognized that they become picked up on national television? And then after it gets picked up on national TV, it gets picked up by HBO, my God. Who's doing that? Well, my beautiful friend David Rios is busy doing that. Not only selling some of America's most beautiful real estate in California's luxury, you, my friend, are designing the heck out of it. And your show, David, your show on HBO is so enjoyable. I just love your spirit. I love your light. Please, can we just dabble a little bit there? Because I know that youthful child, 16, finding a footprint and making that footprint fit. And here you are, a gay man, and I'm with you, David. Growing up the way that we did, both gay men, I didn't feel invited. I didn't feel like I fit in really honestly anywhere. I was so grateful that my foster father, Carl, sent me to a sex therapist at age 19. And his goal was to help me to get comfortable with being uncomfortable about being gay. We all get the different tools. You had to find your own, and you did so by self creating new family and new friends. And can I ask, David, please, because you said so on social, does that show up in personal life? What I heard you share in there as well is that social, since we're on it for 8 to 9 hours a day, shapes who we become because we're who we are by those we surround ourselves with. And what I heard you say is because that's so valuable, that pick people that motivate you, that inspire you, and give them your 8 to 9 hours of on-time social view. The algorithm knows what you like to look at. If you like to look at the darkness, you're just going to be very quick on finding dark things in life. And it's not going to really, here's what I've learned. The dark does not invite creativity the same way the light can. And when light and life are blended together, creativity is enhanced, and believing bolder becomes available, and dreaming big is easier to access. And you, my friend, are proof that believing bolder unlocks the yes. David, as you started youthfully making life work, you're 16, you're now 18, you're now in your 20s as an early adult. May I ask you, please, when did the it snap? When did you find your footing, David, that gave you the first step into believing that you can be this master superhero, that you, David Rios, are going to be on a billboard someday in Palm Springs in a community that loves and adores you? When did that first moment happen, my David? When did you have that first moment in life that led you to believe that real estate, that design, that you as who you are deserves to be everything you are?
So I'm glad you said that. As a kid, I envisioned a lot. I would go to other people's houses, friends' houses that were like over the top. We grew up in a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom home with 5 kids, so getting out to any other area or surrounding really allowed me to see things that are possible. And we're talking about doors, windows, views, pools, things that we never had. That was, as a kid, I always kept that in my mind. Like, I remember going to this house and seeing that view, or this person had this bedroom. These are the things as a kid I absorbed. I was very creative as a kid. And then that led to me really looking at properties when I was selling them. And internally, I was like, oh my God, imagine this, imagine that. And I would hear, because you want to understand the buyer's perspective as well. You want to listen to the wife, you want to listen to the husband, and you kind of pull their must-haves. Well, if you're creative and you hear their must-haves and you're showing them a property that could have their must-haves, that's where I really elevated my whole design experience. So not only was I was always good with people. If you have a personality, you're able to multitask, real estate's for you. You can also do design as well because, again, you've got to be able to take in so many different personalities. During a transaction, there's like 13 people, but really honing in on the husband and the wife or whoever it is, the people that are buying the property, really understanding their core value of what they want to achieve at the end of their day. And if you can come and create that, make a budget for it. And I was able to do that with my little crazy mind since 7 years old. That's where my success came in, because I was able to show them on the renderings, I'm showing you this house, but I hear you. I understand your concerns. I see your family growing. I know your retirement goals. I'm here to design that. And so there wasn't a lot of agents that were going to come to the table and make a game plan with them. So my thought process was, let me make you a game plan for the rest of your life. This is not your forever home. I never speak about forever homes. I look at it as an investment. We're going to treat this as an investment. We're going to go into title as investment, and we're going to design this as an investment property so we have room for growth if you ever sell it or whatever the situation is. So the design element of it really allowed people to fall in love with the house that maybe they weren't quite in love with. And so that's where I started getting recommendations. Oh my God, David turned this garage into this. David turned my bathroom into this. I didn't even think the walls could be moved. Or this kitchen, I hated the kitchen. Oh my God, now I love it. So real estate and design go hand in hand. If you can marry the two, and if you're only good at real estate, find yourself a good designer and find a designer that's going to get your reputation better because you brought them along. You can't do it all. And so now I see that as even myself being a designer, sometimes I'll have a landscape artist, even though I love doing exterior projects, but I'll bring a landscape designer specifically for, the garden and the different plants and the sunset and the light exposure. All of those are details that fine tune my business as an entity. So yeah, the design is what really elevated me. It's gotten me onto shows. I was bold. I was different. I came out to the Coachella Valley in 2012 and people wanted stuff that was unique, different, over the top. And I was like, bring me aboard because I'm unique, I'm different, and I'm over the top. I'm here to design. So yeah.
Did you come out alone? Your design work in real estate, is that just you? Or did you team up with a design company and got found through somebody and then came on your own? How did you just activate through and this is your passion. So it was your passion that led you to believe and then you did it. But how did you do it? Did you just do it?
Yeah, no. Well, I'm glad you said that. So if you're watching and you have kids at home and they're struggling going through college and the college is not for them, I went to FIDM, FITM, and I stayed there 1 year. I wasn't learning anything. And I challenge this for anybody and any job in life in general. I want you to shadow somebody in that industry because you're going to pull away from things that you really love, that you're passionate about, or things that you just don't want. People go to school for 4 to 6 years and they hate their profession. They hate what they mastered and they don't like this. So what I say is go to a trade school. Get into it. I went to Santa Monica College and I specialized in lighting design. Lighting design was the opening path to everything because I was working with contractors, designers, building permits, ground up projects, and the decorative projects with a variety of different designers that allowed me to see different time periods and the way people were designing. That to me was my jam. That oh my God, every day I got to walk in, it was a different experience. So I say that in life, if you're looking to jump into a certain career, don't go to school for it quite yet. Shadow somebody, ask the questions, and see if it's for you. Because if not, it's time you're wasted. It's money that's been invested for nothing. So bringing a team that understood my craziness. So that means I was following people that did murals. I found people that were very particular on installing tile. When you have a team and they understand your craziness, they know what you're talking about. And a lot of the times I was working with architects that they couldn't understand me. So I would just draw it. I'm very visual. I would draw it on a wall and I'm everything is scale. Remember this, you guys, when you're doing design, make sure you scale it. And that means measurements. It's a lot of interior designers don't understand couches and proper spacing. All of that is what led my designs to really taking advantage every square foot of a home. And so that's where I prevailed was I understood setbacks. I knew walkways. I knew proper, countertops and overhangs. All of these are details that elevated my experience. So I brought a team over from LA and I said, hey, there's an area. It's called Palm Springs. It's fun. It's kind of hot during the summer, but if you're willing to come, there's people out there that are willing to allow us to flourish with the design. So Palm Springs really just elevated it. And when I came here, I found out that Palm Springs was developed and designed in the 1930s. So what I learned back in Orange County and LA was traditional style homes, colonial homes, craftsman style homes. And I was able to bring that to Palm Springs because there's actually a period of 1930s here. So it's been a blessing in disguise to be able to do contemporary home, mid-century homes, you name it, I can do it now.
It's the truth. The goose pimples literally everywhere. Yeah, your art is delicious. Oh my gosh, it is no wonder it's highlighted all over the place. My signatures everywhere of David Rios. And the Velvet Rope. Wait till you get to stay at the Velvet Rope. Every room is themed uniquely different than the other. And if the Velvet Rope is packed, maybe you're lucky and get a room at the Trixie Motel. And there is super fun. Every room there is ultra delicious and unique. They even have a cocktail named after every room. And I recommend the Cowgirl is yummy. And David, your design is memorable. What I've learned about being in the spaces you've touched and the ones I've been invited to be a part of, like you're in the Valerie right now, the gorgeous bar right there at the Velvet Rope. And if you're in Palm Springs, even if you're not staying in Palm Springs, come to the Valerie. Come to the weekend. It's delicious to be there. Oh my gosh, there's live music, the feeling. You feel so elegant and delicious. You know you're outside of your own normal. You know you're at the Valerie. Look at the goose pimples are back again because I was just there not long ago and remembering everything. I get the pleasure of seeing it as the Velvet Rope was just opening. You were so kind, showed us the rooms, and each one was a wow event. Each one is an Instagram postable moment. You want to get viral, go to the Velvet Rope. You can play in the pool, it doesn't matter. Wherever you are, you're going to find a space to go post something that's sexy, that's unique, and you feel delicious. And because why? Because here's what I've learned in life, and David, you might agree that I think we feel the feelings we're in because of the design we're surrounded by. And consciously and subconsciously, I've learned it all matters, and design matters. And my goodness, you've proven it. And David, I heard, and allow me, here's what I heard, that your footing and success and career that you've worked through was design and real estate, and that you made sure to go out there and not do it alone. You found great talent by actually working with the talent and then hand selecting the ones that were the best fit. And then I just heard you tell me that you rounded up the talent and you brought the talent to the desert with you. And the talent came and you believed. You flapped your beautiful wings from Long Beach, from LA, and you brought your talent to Palm Springs and you became so bold. But David, please, there is no proof. There is absolutely no proof any of this was going to work. It was just you dreaming it was going to work. Tell me about that, please, David. Tell me. What happened? What story told you that you belonged in the desert and that LA was a part of the story, but there's another one over there waiting for you to say hello to it? How did you find that event window, and how did you tell yourself it was worth the try?
You know, again, it stems from my childhood. It stems from taking risk, not being afraid, and just being different and unique. And again, you travel around the world, and there's particular places that just call home. And for me, I thought one day I'll retire in Palm Springs, but I found there's a tranquility when surrounded by the mountain structures and so forth. There's a synergy that everyone's just friendly. They're here to be on vacation. It's a vacation style area, and we choose to live here. No one comes here by force. This Palm Springs is a destination where people choose to live because they want a quality of life that's like no other. And that's something that I needed in my life. LA was getting too much. The traffic was a lot as well. I mean, I did love the projects there, but Palm Springs, I knew I had to take a chance on it. And it invited me in. And then during COVID, I was like, I'm never leaving. It was like changing. When you don't have traffic and you don't have anxiety to get to the next project and this and that, you can flourish in your business and any type of business in Palm Springs or the Coachella Valley as well, because it's newcomers, it's people that appreciate it, and it's just a different style of living. People are very loving. They're willing to see different styles, and just it's a motivation for even younger people that are starting small businesses. The small businesses are so encouraged here in this city. That's why I was running for city council. I remember a girl told me, if you're not a member of the organization or you're not on a board, you really don't have a say. Until you sit at the table, then you have something to say. So for me, I've learned to be on committees and be on boards and to have an opinion, to be able to bring, other people's, my thoughts, but also in the frustrations that I've seen, whether it be construction, whether it be housing, whatever it was. Unless you're sitting at that table, you don't have much of a say. So I encourage people to get involved with your communities, get involved with the nonprofit organizations, involved with different boards. It doesn't take too much of your time, but you have a stake, and you can verbalize for so many people that you hear, that you see, and it's changing. So I'm grateful to be here in Palm Springs, and I know that me being here was a blessing for many, because it's so cool when I see people say, "Oh my God, you're David Rios, and I want you to design this. How can we work together for this? How can we do that?" So I'm a yes for anyone and everyone. I mean, it could be a small scale project. Or it could just be advice, or it could just be a lunch date. Maybe somebody just needs, going through some family issues, or dealing with, our industry and the market, whatever, and they just want someone to talk to. I'm here. I'm available. And so that's what I love being here. I just meet people all day long.
David, please, was success quickly available once you got here? Did it happen overnight? Was yours an overnight desert success story? Or was there a way to get to the success moment? Or was it rather instant?
It was a lot of butt kissing. Oh my God. I showed up to open houses. I was friendly. Oh my God, you guys. Being lovable and being friendly with other agents, with other designers, not ever feeling like you're too better than anyone. I mean, I came over here. I was doing open houses for condos for 200,000, and eventually that led into 2 million. But I started at the 200,000. I still do $200,000. Always remember, stay grounded, stay humble at all times, because this could go in a heartbeat. I've had so many family members and friends that have passed away, and that humbles you because you know that life can be taken at any time. I am blessed for the open houses. I'm blessed to work with other designers, because once you get your foot into the door here in Palm Springs, all the doors open. But you've got to get in there. And how are you going to do it? You've got to do the legwork. And that's showcasing other people's open houses. That's complimenting other designers. That's buying and sharing the design center here. It's showing face and doing stuff for other people, working with the Chamber of Commerce, working with other entities that really bring the body together. And sometimes I go to a bar and I'm not even drinking, but I sit at the bar. Why? Because I know the bartenders. They're bringing me business. I sit next to successful people that are at the bar by themselves because they just want to talk, and I start building relationships, and that's how I start my book of business. I go to the gym. I start talking to people. I go to the dog park. I start talking to them. So you really got to get out of your shell to be able to experience other people's life, to see how you can help them out. And if that does come into the financial aspect of it, it only elevates you. Because in this world, what I've learned during my time here on this earth is it's who you know. It's who you know that opened the doors for you. Being there, getting out of your house, going to some events, and showcasing yourself, saying hello and smile at people, that really stems up. If you don't come out of your house and you don't support other people's events, then you're who are you? You got to put that legwork in, and you will start building your reputation here in our city and anywhere across the world. Show up, show the support, and that will lead into success for your business and your future.
Wow. Holy what? I told you this is the one. Now the goosebumps. I'm not showing my legs, but boy, they're right down there. David, you just give it. You honestly give the real stuff that really moves the needle far and fast. I love who you are. I absolutely adore you. It's the truth. It's the God's truth. I've living what you're saying, and I've witnessed it works that well. It is absolutely who we know. Not just what we know in life that moves the needle for us. And how are we going to get to know anybody if we're sitting at home comfortably with the blanket and television on? Turn it off, get dressed, put on something cute, and go out there and say hi. You know what I've learned too, David? I've learned that I've been invited to the thing, and I'll say yes. And as the thing gets closer, I think of the reasons why the sofa and the blanket and the TV feel better tonight, and they'll understand why I couldn't come. And then I tell myself that's bullshit. And I get past that moment and I go get dressed into something that makes me feel cute. And then I go to the event and I find out I had the best time ever. And then I met people that I would never have met sitting on my sofa. And it was absolutely those people, David, that invited another moment that happened later and next. But how could I have gotten invited to the later and next event if I never would have left for that night's event? I love who you are. It's the truth, David, isn't it? So you came to the city, and I love what you said, that this recipe has the right to work everywhere in the world. And what I heard the recipe is get out there, be participative in the community you love. And you had the chance to fall in love with the desert because of the people that call it home and the energy and the synergy and the entrepreneur spirit, and that it is a vacation destination. And isn't that delicious? I mean, when we go on vacation, we have the spirit of fun, party, great energy, not that life is hard and everything sucks. I mean, that can come on vacation too, and those are memorable differently. But most people are coming for the fun part. And who gets to live in a city with fun? Well, you do, David, and others do. But what I love about you, look at his back. Why? Well, David, you did your version, but through passion. You allowed passion to drive your days forward, not somebody else's idea of who you should be. I just love who you are. You constantly self-design yourself to be who you show up to be every day. And what I love about you, David, as you're doing right now, you love to give so others can gain. You're constantly focusing on mentoring others. If you're in the community, when David says reach out to him, if you're thinking about moving, if you're thinking about doing anything in industry or even design, David means it, FYI. I know for proof. Why? Because he loves to give, he loves to learn, he loves to touch the world, and he loves, how do you become more effective in life? I think you become more effective when you understand life better. And how can you understand the color of life through others' eyes if you don't go out and share bread and have talks and learn about their visions? David, you're so good about that. I know because I've enjoyed ours so many. They're so in depth. They touch different parts. And I've always walked away with a feeling of, yes, I can. And life feels delicious. And David, please, as I think about the things that you continue to unlock, I mean, here you are, this beautiful young person who felt that they deserved to be loved and thought that they would, only to learn it was rejection that was on the other side of "are you gay?" question. And then you start questioning everything in life, and you just found different questions to ask of how can I be beautiful anyway? And I'm going to show them, and this is the energy I'm going to use. And you invited others to join you on the journey. So you didn't do it alone. Even in that young event window when rejection was so strong. I mean, that's family, that's mom, that's kind of like the everything. And it happened. And then your love around those surrounded you allowed you to get past it. And then you continue. And then you came to Coachella Valley and you found a community that's wrapped around you being authentic. What I love about you, and can we spend a moment on that, please, David? Because it is the core, my beautiful friend, of who you are. Authenticity is one of the strongest things you speak through. Can you help me to understand, and our listeners, please, David? When I say authenticity, yours is at the strongest level of one of the fewest people I've met who's as wickedly authentic as you are. For you, I've learned nothing holds bar. You're just going to be as real as available to be. David, may I please? When did that become available for you? How did you allow yourself, and what happened when you did? I know this story, but will you share it with all of us, please? Because it's so heart-touching. It's so real, and I love what's happened because of it. I think it's scary for us in life to be real who we are. I think a lot of times we try to show up to the person we're visiting with so they can see us in the vision we think we want them to see. But son of a gun, not you. Please, can we explore that a little together, authenticity?
Yes, and I'm so glad you touched on that because for years I had a chip on my shoulder because of the way I was brought up, and it was only affecting me. When you have so many hard hurdles in your life, living in shelters or dealing with disappointments within your family or relationships, it only hardens you. I finally let that go and I gave forgiveness to everyone. And then I felt the love in return. That was a blessing. And first and foremost, because maybe it was myself, the love was there, but I wasn't allowing it in. The other thing was transparency, you guys. Transparency is everything. I was on Instagram and I was getting a ton of followers and I had jobs coming in left and right, but I wasn't tangible. And the terms of that being is once I got to a point where I felt like success was there, I didn't really have to look for jobs that were coming to me. That was great. And I said, you know what? I already have the jobs. I was always afraid to talk about my history and my past. The minute I did that, I became so much more tangible to people that were like me or had issues or dealt with I guess struggles in their lives, such like I did as a kid and as a young adult, and how I hurdled. And so I came up with this thing called knowledge and love. And what I was able to give people was knowledge and love, and that came free. I learned that from my parents. My parents were very lovable, and I feel like maybe, at that time growing up, they didn't have the educational value to give me or the discipline, but they did definitely gave me the lovability. And with that, it was like, if I can give people love and they can feel that, and if it's authentic and they can feel it, they're going to trust me. You have to build a trust with your audience, with your family members, with your friends, your coworkers. And once you have that love and that trust, all the doors open for you. Once I was able to speak about my past, my dad being, on drugs my whole life, and addictions that he had, things that I've dealt with, death, addictions, all of these things, they came into my life as a kid that stirred me off from stuff because I seen how horrible it was. I became tangible to so many people because you know what? They weren't looking at David having houses and hotels and whatever. They were seeing David as his suffering, his pain, and how he overcame it. And that, not to say that I don't go through that now. I go through that now, you guys. There's times where deals don't go through where I almost lost my hotel.
Oh,
I was shut down for 4.5 months. There was a bomb that happened in California. It took down. I sold all my houses. I put all my love and my
oh,
effort into my hotel, and I almost lost it. You're talking about someone who just came out of foreclosure. You're talking about someone who still had the drive and the authenticity to come through and to show that I'm going to survive this. And no one knew I was going through that. But you know what? I showed up every day with a smile. I survived it. I didn't get any help from any financial, from state or federal or insurance company,
wow,
but
David.
I had a business that I knew I could not I let it go under. I was going to fight tooth and nail no matter what to hold on to what I have. And so
And that
again, you
was this
guys,
year. This is all
that
this year, right, David?
this is all this year. And, it was 6 months ago. And, your life can change like this. And it did. I went from being very successful, weekends sold out, just a beautiful creation that I brought for everyone in the world to see what I've created in my hotel, to it being gone in a matter of minutes from a bomb. And so, again, this shows what I can achieve and overcome. And I don't give up. I don't give up because again, what is it for me? I mean, what's left in life? To go back to being homeless? That's not going to happen. I'm encouraged again by David being young, David being smaller, and all the stories that I've heard from other people for being transparent with them. The people from Instagram, the people from Facebook that reached out to me and said, "Oh my God, I went through that same thing, and I'm glad you were able to express it. I understand your pain. I understand your suffering. I went through that 2008, disaster that we went through. I see what you're dealing with now." So being real and being able to share your realness with other people, you will connect not only on a personal level but on a business level as well. And that is what's elevated me. I can sit here and smile all day long, and there's pain that we go through, but it's not going to overcome my life. I want people to know that I'm surviving, that I'm lovable, I'm tangible, and that I'm able to connect with 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 90-year-olds, because I see we have when you can walk into a building and you see people around you that don't look like you, that are opposite sex, that are a different race than you, that might come from different, demographic. When you can walk into a place and know that there is a commonality that you have with every single person in that room, sky's the limit. Sky is the limit. I never walk into a place and say, "Oh my God, I feel like that, they're multimillionaires and billionaires, or that person's too ghetto," whatever. I will find a commonality with everybody. And that is what makes me different. And it'll make you different as well. If you walk in there with a blank slate, I'm going to talk to them, and we're going to have some type of common something that will bring us together. And that's what we want in life. We want to feel common with everyone.
Amazing, David. Absolutely amazing. And David, congratulations, my beautiful friend, on getting past that. That bombing was horrible. And your resort, it was close to where it is, and windows burst, and it was really affected. And that's what dreamers do. That's what dreamers do, I believe. And life is, and life belongs to all of us individually. And everybody's dreams belong to us. But I love what you do with dreams, David. You dream boldly, and then you believe bolder in the dreams you self-create. You are a believer of the dreams that you self-create, and you self-created the vision of Velvet Rope success. And then life brought a surprise, just like that day I got run over by the car. There are surprises. Life brought a bombing. What? Who gets bombed? Well, my David did. And the resort overnight was affected. And we can choose in that moment to say, well, shoot, that didn't work, and now I have to give up on everything. Or you go out there, you dreamer in the world, and you learn that life isn't over until it's really over. Anything till that moment is an experience, and what we're going to do with the experience will change what's next. And what I heard in you, my David, and I think is amazing, is that you allowed the dream to be larger than the bombing. And the dream required ingredients to keep it alive. And dreamers that, look, I snap my fingers with joy, because I've learned that dreamers that believe boldly in the dreams they create will take uncomfortable actions to keep dreams alive. And those are the how we do it events. So many people in life ask the wrong questions. And the questions are, how will I do it? How much will it cost? How long will it take? Too many how questions often stop any activity. What I love about you, David, is that everything stems from what I'm hearing from want. I want the hotel to be open tomorrow for somebody to have this experience. I want the hotel to stay successful. I want my dream to be unlocked and realized. I want the city to have this special boutique hotel resort in its community because it matters. And your want created the how you were going to do it. So uncomfortably, you transported other assets, housing assets, to unlock the how to keep the story alive. And I suggest those were uncomfortable decisions. And somehow your self-belief in believing in the dreams you've created in life were how you did it, David. I could be wrong. I don't want to put words in mouth. I just want to honor who you are and just take a continued amazement of what happens in life for those bold dreamers, and that life deserves to be dreamt, and that the dream you're playing with is probably too small. You know what? You get bigger and get more out of life the more you're willing to play with the life you have. And I've learned that every moment is a moment to experience, and you can change the moment that's next. But I think it's us that makes the decision for the change. What I love about you, David, is that even in life's obstacles, wall stoppers, you just admire that somebody built a wall. You look at the texture and the cement and the talent, and then you simply walk around the wall. It's just delicious. But you don't just walk around. Look at the goose pimples. How many times in this podcast? I think sometimes in life we just walk past the things that are happening. What I love about you is that you pause, honor, and find a commonality to share with somebody. And then you stay real and authentic, and that allows you to invite everything out of life. I swear, why do these podcasts, why are they so short? I could spend hours together, David, examining, and those in life you should. You dreamer. Are you doing something in life and you would love to have a story with David, a time with David, to sit down and visit of how you can be successful? How can you unlock your authenticity? You're going to find David totally available for that. I swear to God, he will be. And he's so easy. David, you're so easy to find. You're everywhere. You're an influencer online. You literally have billboards in town. David Rios, you just do a Google search. He's pages of his magic. David, thank you for being so beautiful. Thank you for bringing your beautiful authenticity to the desert. It matters. Our community in Coachella Valley is built by the people that choose to live there. And that's the same for wherever you're living. And if where you're living doesn't love who you are as who you are authentically, move. Why? Well, because you can. And when you do, you're going to find out that life has something available for you. David, you've unlocked so much out of the Coachella Valley and the LA communities, and one of the most competitive markets in America. And you continue to mentor. You're a keynote speaker for many events. You're recognized by Palm Springs Life. You're all over in the magazines. You're in print everywhere. You're on national television. You stream online. My friend, you are a beautiful soul that invites others to find beauty in the life they're having by constantly sharing your beauty. You often share the stage and the light for others before you ever share it on yourself. You're a gorgeous person, Mr. David Rios. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today on Believe Boulder.
Thank you. And thank you for allowing me to be here and share my story. Thank you to the Lord. And thank you to all the new viewers and followers that are hearing this right now. Maybe it touched your heart. But we can't do this thing and we call life alone. It has to be done with family that you create, that you have, friends, relationships, and everything is relationship based. So continue building relationships all over the world, all over the world. I'm saying that not just in your city, all over the world. And it's a blessing. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh. Tears are in my eyes. I've had multiple goose pimples, tearing twice now. And my mind just got inspired again, David. Thank you for joining David and I today. I've been so excited waiting for this moment for us to get together, knowing how wonderful this visit would be. I hope one day you'll have the pleasure of getting to visit the Velvet Rope Hotel. If you've not made your travel plans, might this podcast be the one you needed to hear? That, my wonderful friend, and may I suggest two of my favorite rooms, the Liberace room and the Lucille Ballroom, if I'm naming that room correctly, are my two favorite rooms out of the ones I've seen, but I think you're going to find your favorite, and it might even be the pool. I don't know. It might be the Valerie. Let's see what you discover that you fall in love with. David, thank you for being so beautiful. Thank you for being you, and thank you for joining us, and thank you, well, for listening to us. And if you've enjoyed it as much as David and I have, we sure would love it if you take a moment and leave us an authentic 5-star review. We know that others will learn of our podcast because of you taking that moment to share it. And you matter. And this is a community we're building of believers and dreamers coming together. And together we'll find the path of how to do it. You're not alone in life. Find the people that encourage and inspire you to make your life stunning, and all of a sudden, there you are doing it. I can't wait to visit with you next week on our next podcast. Thank you again for joining David and I today. We'll see you soon.